to the Lexy Show, Fashion That Gives a Damn. This week I am joined by the Director of Sustainability and Partnerships for NuSource. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Madison Mavis. How are you doing, Madison?
Good. How are you?
Good. I haven't seen you since what, Earth Month or something? Was that when we saw each other?
Yeah, right. Climate Week and all
Climate
that
Week.
fun stuff. Yeah.
How you been?
I'm good. You look so cute with your lipstick and your hair. You look adorable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's start with your story. What led you to a career in sustainable fashion that eventually led you to NuSource?
Yeah. Okay. Well, so my story's a little funky, and I always like to preface this by saying I am a massive career pivoter, and I don't think I would recommend it to anybody else necessarily. It's so bizarre. So I actually started my career after college in advertising. So I was working as a commercial producer for many, many years before discovering the world of even fashion and much less sustainable fashion. I had hit a point in my career, I was like 6, 7 years into it, producing for some like major brands. I like to say from Budweiser to Plan B, which is accurate. And I had just hit this point, and it was dovetailing with COVID. I was really getting introspective. I was thinking, okay, do I want to continue doing this? I've hit a pretty significant part of my career. I could continue producing commercials, I could continue working in advertising, but I feel like there's something more I could contribute to the world and to society. And so just started taking some online classes during COVID and just was saying yes to all of these interests that I had and had forgotten about after college. So I took this one class on Coursera called like Fashion as Design that MoMA created.
hmm
And they did a module one week focused all about sustainability. And I had never heard of some of this stuff before. I had never heard about the waste. I had never heard about Rana Plaza. I had never heard about like how polyester is made from oil, like bunker stuff that
hmm
we all know now. And I think it's way more common knowledge in general. But obviously, I'm coming at it from a different place now and was just completely blown away. And I was also just like super pissed that no one had told me about this before. And just it felt like, okay, nope, this is it. Started taking a separate class called Sustainable Fashion on Coursera, discovered the world of the Sustainable Fashion Masters program at GCNYC and got into that. And through all of my education and through my learning, really honed in on the secondhand industry. I was just, I had been a thrifter. I had loved thrifting. And, there, I knew that there were very educated professional people working on a lot of the other issues like fair trade and like labor concerns, material concerns, things like that. But it seemed like the secondhand space was somewhere where I was passionate about it and I could potentially make a difference. So I had heard about Helpsy kind of through the grapevine. They seemed interesting. I wasn't really sure what they did. And it was actually, I was talking to Emily Stokel about this last week. It was through her podcast and through the Remake Slack channel that I heard that they were hiring. And
Mm.
so I reached out over LinkedIn to my now boss, Jessica, and was like, hey, I heard you're hiring. Like, what's up? And thankfully through that, I got a job doing brand partnerships. And so now it's been 2 years and through lots of ups and downs, but that's kind of how I got there.
That's amazing. I think that's like a question I'll get, I feel like sometimes from people that are in college or just looking to, make a career change. And they'll
Mm-hmm.
be like, how did you get started in the fashion industry? And I'm like, I honestly feel like part of it's just being a yes man for a little bit and being just,
100%.
yeah, just being
Oh
like,
my
yes,
God.
I will do that. Yes, totally.
Yeah.
I will attend this. Yes, I would love to get coffee. And then it's like really just putting yourself out there. And even if you get, rejections or acceptances, like I literally think everything is just a learning lesson because
Oh yeah.
every rejection you get, I think like really just like, you know, gets you used to, putting yourself out there more and being okay with the fact that you might get rejected. but not letting that then like tear you down and stop you from doing anything. And I think like so much of the fashion industry is like the people that you know. And
Yep.
I interviewed someone on my podcast during its first season, and that person ended up hiring me, and now I've worked at this company for 5 years. And then I looked on LinkedIn one day and I found this other company that was hiring, and the job position basically had very little to do with what I had experience with. And I
Yep.
just applied to it, and now I've been working there for a year and a half. And so it's like really just being a yes man and putting yourself out there. And oftentimes when you work with people that are like really interested in your story, your why, like they're willing to adjust accordingly and give you that experience. And so I think it's great that you kind of had that experience as
Oh
well.
my God. Yeah, well, like, and the part that I left out was many job applications and also many networking calls. I mean, I was working as an unpaid intern for a while so I was working as a producer, and as I was shifting, I worked at a couple of different fashion brands just to get some experience and just say I had some level of knowledge about how it worked. And that alone, just like doing a couple hours a week is just another thing on the resume, right? So
Yeah.
if you're starting from nothing, just start with something. Like try to get like anything that just looks a little bit better on the
Yeah.
resume. And who knows where it could lead. You never know.
You never know. I think
You never know.
that's so important. It's just like put yourself out there. You'll see what happens.
Exactly. And the more you do, the more that comes to you too. It's
Exactly.
exhausting, but it
Law of
happens.
the
It works.
universe. So let's talk a little bit more about your role. How has it kind of evolved since joining the company? I know you guys recently rebranded. And what does a typical day look like as the Director of Sustainability and Partnerships?
Yeah, well, it's evolved quite a bit. Yeah, it's been over 2 years now, almost two and a half. So thankfully, the mission has remained the same because I really value the mission. I think everyone else at the company does as well. Our goal is to help keep as much clothing out of the trash as possible. And so my goal as director of sustainability and partnerships is to help give brands, retailers, and nonprofits basically a solution to the problem of having too much stuff and too much inventory. And like, as I'm assuming your listeners already know, fashion brands tend to overproduce for a specific season, and they really overestimate how much they're able to sell a good amount of the time. Not everybody does, but a good amount of the time. And so that means that they're often left sitting on a lot of unsold inventory. They don't know what to do with it. And a lot of the time they either throw things away or they'll end up burning them. They'll just not want to throw it away because that costs money. Sometimes they could burn it to generate energy, which is problematic for a different reason. But in my opinion, if you're throwing things away that are made by human hands still or burning it, that's like that just seems so disrespectful to me. Like not only to your designers and the people in the front office, but like to the people who made it. Like people's blood, sweat, and tears went into making that stuff, and you're just throwing it out. So we try to offer an alternative and say, please do not throw out these items that you are left with. We will pay for them. So we offer to buy this inventory that they don't know what to do with. Sometimes it's excess inventory, sometimes it's customer returns, damages, like things that are damaged out, they're samples. And it not only does it give them an incentive to not throw things away, but it also helps them like understand what value that they're leaving on the table essentially by going through those other channels. And we offer basically a customized solution to that problem depending on what they are struggling with. So I'm working with brands every day. I'm having meetings, I'm going back and forth over email trying to understand what they're struggling with, how we can be a solution. And now, as a director, I am building out my team of different partnership specialists. So, folks working directly, with retailers under me and brands under me, and really trying to help flesh out our own sustainability strategy. So let's not just say that we're helping brands with their excess inventory. What else can we be doing? Like, is it, I don't know, fundraising for nonprofits? Yeah, let's figure out a way to do that, you know? So it's a lot of figuring things out right now, which
Hmm.
is very exciting.
I always feel like I'm like the journey's, the most the words most exciting part, figuring
Mhm.
things out and seeing like it can be stressful, but like I feel like that's part of the fun sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
And
all
plus,
about
like, we're
all about how you look at it.
all about how you look at it. And I always like to try to reframe it because we are in a super unique place in history in sustainable fashion, too. Like, a lot of people are aware of the problem now. The solutions have yet to fully ramp up. So, like, it's a lot of figuring out these different ways of working and seeing what actually works and then refining. And, it's pretty new.
Hmm.
It's a lot of creative problem solving.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that
Yeah.
I mean, in general, it's so great that we talk about sustainability in the fashion industry so much more now than we ever used to.
Yeah.
I feel like even like 10 years ago, like what was sustainable fashion? Like no one knew what that was.
Right.
And so it's great that we're having these conversations, and it's great that so many consumers are pushing for, more sustainable brands, more transparency, and then so many brands and companies are coming up in these places as kind of like problem solvers.
Hmm.
Or these companies have been around for a very long time, and we're just kind of re-practicing them.
Yeah, rediscovering and like
Discovering.
reinvesting in some of these
Mhm.
solutions. Like, Jesus Christ, we need to be paying our tailors better. Or, like there's cobblers everywhere if you look for them in certain cities. So we need to really understand what solutions already exist too.
Yeah. No, this is something I've been talking about a lot. I feel like literally like all of my most recent podcasts, I'm like really trying to freaking push the idea down people's throats about a cobbler and a seamstress. Like, I don't need to
Yeah.
convince you to be the most sustainable person in the world, but hear me out. If you have a piece you really, really like, take it to a freaking seamstress, my guy. Like, please.
Yeah.
I have really been talking about this so much, and myself, for the first time ever, went to a shoe repair place and to a seamstress. I'm sure I've been to a seamstress before, but like as a grown adult,
Hmm.
drove myself to a seamstress. I like called beforehand. I was like, I don't know how this works. Do I need to make an appointment or can I just come in? They're like, you can just
For
come
calling
in.
first.
And I was
That's
like,
great.
okay, cool. Thank you. And I was like so nervous. And I honestly feel like that's part of like the reason why, a lot of things like we don't think about doing them necessarily is because like if they're not
Right.
as well practiced, like it's like me when I take my car to like, get an oil change or something, and I'm like, they're like, oh, well, like we should really flip your tire, and also we should do this, and also we should do this. And I'm calling my dad, and I'm like, they need to flip my tire. And they're like, Lexi, you got that tire like 2 months ago. You're fine. And I was like, oh, you're so right, Diva. Like, I forgot. My bad. Uh,
Flip
so-
your tire. I have not heard that yet. And I
Right. I was like, what do you mean flip my tire? This isn't a mattress. What are we doing? Like, what do you
it's a
mean?
very like
And the only
don't
time I've heard of someone flipping their mattress was in like freaking Friends when they're like trying to find something to do. They're like, let's flip
and
a
also I don't
mattress.
think you're supposed to do that anymore. Like with pillow tops, you're not supposed to flip your mattress. So like what anyway.
So I was I was like, I think they're trying to upcharge me. Like, I don't know what to do, Dad. And they're like, Lexi, just say no. Like, it's fine. You literally just came for an oil change. That's the only thing you need. And I was like, you're so right. That's what I'm gonna get. So like I go into a cobbler and I'm like, I've never had this experience before. Like,
Yeah.
what if this amount of money is like not the amount of money I should be spending? But I was very fortunate and I found like the most amazing cobbler first store I went to.
Oh,
I I did a little bit of research like on TikTok beforehand, like cobblers, like whatever, what's the process like? But they were so kind and they like really cared about the shoe and they were like, "Oh, like okay, if you want this, like if you want the cheapest option, this is what we can do. If you want something
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna really last you, this is what we could do and this is how much it would be. And
Huh.
I was like, okay, like that's actually really helpful because like I have a pair of like thrifted shoes that, need the base repaired and they were like, this is gonna be blah 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 amount of money. And I was like, okay, I paid like $7 for these shoes. Like they're like plastic. Like I'm not sure how much I want to do that. Like I'm just gonna
Yeah.
super glue at this point and see
Right.
what works. But like I have a bunch of pair of like vintage shoes that unfortunately have just been like, worn throughout the years and then I wore them and they like completely fell apart. And so I took them and I was like, I really care about these shoes. These are shoes that I paid like good money for and I want to keep. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, yeah, we can totally like repair these and this is how much it'll be and this is what we suggest to like really make sure you're getting like, longevity out of it and whatever. And it was so great. And so I'm like really like just kind of call up your local shoe repair place. Like I know people have shoes they need to be fixed. Like I know everyone is probably looking at a pair of shoes listening to this or like something that has a stain and needs to be dry cleaned or has is like ever so slightly too big and needs to be
Mm-hmm.
hemmed. Like let's bring back the practice of seamstresses and cobblers, please.
Yeah.
Keep saying this every podcast.
Oh my God, I will back you up on that because I also did the same thing recently, like a year ago. For the first time, I had these one pair of boots that are just my favorite boots. I wear them like all the time.
Yeah.
And finally, like the zipper broke and the heel fell off. And I remember getting them back from the cobbler being like, "Oh my God, you made them a new pair of shoes. This is
Hmm.
amazing. Now I don't need to buy a new pair. I can keep wearing. I don't need to change my whole style because they kind of were my go-to pair for everything. Like it's great.
It's the
Uh,
best.
best.
I just think when you love something, like, I think this is also something I've been talking a lot about recently, where it's like, I think a lot of people out there still think that, machines make our clothes,
Yeah.
and they don't. People make our clothes. And so it's like, when you love something, like if you love, your pet, you're going to do everything in your power to take care of your pet. You're going to take it on walks. You're going to, give it all the love, give it all the water, give it all the food, give it the best of that food. Do
Hmm.
research on the food, take it to the best vet, do research on that vet. Like you love that pet, you're going to take care of that pet. Like I just think we need to bring back this idea of like caring about the things that we love into our clothing and into our wardrobe because it's like we've really gotten to this idea of like throwaway culture and fast fashion and oh I have an event coming up so I'm just going to buy
Hmm.
a shitty like $2 dress, wear it once and then take it to Goodwill or just straight up throw it out.
Yeah.
um and we just like lost this idea of like caring about stuff and keeping stuff. And it's like when I buy a new pair of clothes, like I always ask myself the question of like, where am I going to wear this to? What am I going to wear it with? How many times am I going to wear it before I
Yep.
purchase something? And then I'll like get home and I'll usually try to like style that thing immediately so that I can, know that there are ways that I can wear it and style it multiple ways so that when I'm running late somewhere and I need an outfit idea quickly, I'm like, oh, well, I know I could pair this with this and that because I did it when I first bought it. And so it's like,
Right.
we need to bring this idea back of like loving our stuff and taking care of it.
What you just described is exactly like what I try to do as well, just
Mhm.
because you if you're in the right mindset of like creativity with your clothes and you come up with all the different outfits that you can in the moment, then you will end up wearing that stuff more, I find.
Yeah.
Because like for example, this shirt, it's from upcycled flour sacks apparently.
Oh my God, I was going to ask if it was because I just bought something yesterday that is also made from upcycled flowers.
No,
And I was like, this has the same vibe.
are you kidding?
I knew it. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Okay, I love it. Keep going.
That's so
Sorry.
funny. Okay, no, but I love that. Okay, clearly we're in the same zone when it comes to this stuff. But like I saw it at the store. The guy was telling me about how his wife upcycled them, and I'm like, oh, this is so fucking cool. And then I brought it home. I washed it first, and then I tried it on with the first pair of pants I could find. I'm like, let's just see what happens. And it's a little cropped, so
Uh-huh.
it works really well with high waisted pants
Uh-huh.
because it like the lines are perfect, and I wear it with my little crop shirt. And you have to get excited by your clothes. And if like had I not come up had I not like happened upon this high-waisted jeans situation immediately, like I probably would have put it in my closet and been
Mhm.
like, oh, that's cool. Like I'm not really sure how to style it, and I'll save it for another day where I have the mental space for it.
It's always the
And
saving it for another day that I'm like, I never
yeah,
wearing this. That's the same thing when I go
no,
through my closet and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I haven't worn this in 6 months or a year or whatever, but what if this one time it comes around and I'm gonna need it? And I'm like, okay, at
exactly.
that point, first of all, I shouldn't have purchased this item in the first place. And second of all,
Ugh.
I don't necessarily need to keep it. I think that my closet should be filled with, things that I'm gonna want to keep forever. And that's really something that I've been trying to remind myself is like, I feel like when I go thrifting or I like to just go
Hmm.
to thrift stores sometime and just like explore different thrift stores and not even buy anything. I just like to like look.
Oh hell yeah.
Just
I
random
do that all the
lady
time. It's
activities, whatever.
here in LA, it's so fun. Yeah, who
I
needs a
know.
hobby? Just go to thrift stores.
I'm just gonna kill time. I'm just gonna go to the
Yeah,
thrift store. I might not buy anything, but I'm just gonna go hang out with the clothes, whatever.
it's like
Um,
a museum.
but I feel like I every time I go to a thrift store, I kind of get like thrift brain, and I'm like, oh,
Mm,
like I could maybe want this, and then I don't end up wearing it. And I really, really, really have been like asking myself before I purchase something of like, am I going to keep this forever? Because this
mhm.
better be something I'm going to keep in my closet forever, or I'm not getting it. And
Yeah.
so I think I'm still kind of in the phase of like getting rid of things that I don't necessarily think I'm going to keep forever or want forever. But then when I do that, it's always like the cycle of like, okay, what seven, the 7 R's of sustainability where it's like, how can I go through these steps before just throwing this piece out? So like I'm gonna re-gift it, give it to a friend. I
Hmm.
love to go through my closet and make little thrift bundles for my friends and be
Oh,
like, oh,
cute.
this represents this person's style and this person's style. And it's like it's still great stuff. It's just not something that I've worn recently.
Yeah.
And then I'll do this and then I'll do this and then I'll do this and then I'll do like a trashy bag and take it there and
Hmm.
then worst case scenario, then I will take it to a Goodwill. I always save that for last because they get so much stuff. We don't need to give
They
them.
do.
But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I love this conversation that we've had.
This is
I
great.
forgot I was asking questions. So let's get back to NuSource. You guys did recently rebrand to Helpsy. So can you kind of tell us what's changed, what hasn't, what brings like what comes with this new chapter?
Yeah. So we have rebranded from Helpsy Source to NuSource.
Okay.
Helpsy still exists as its own entity and is still in the business of collecting and sorting clothing, from bins that are kind of placed throughout the Northeast. They're still in operation. But our Helpsy Source team was acquired by a separate investor.
Okay.
So we are the part of the company that works really closely with the brands, retailers, nonprofits that have too much inventory. And then our customer base is that mom and pop thrift store in Minnesota, and they're looking for specific inventory that we might have because like maybe their donations haven't been as good recently or they're looking for specific things for like back to school. No problem. We've got a ton of jeans in kid sizes here at NuSource. So we, as a part of this change, and now this, we're launching a new company. It's basically brand new, and we're really, really, really focused on how can we help our thrift store customers and our reseller customers grow their business because as we all know, there is a ton of stuff out there. And if we can collect more of it, keep it in circulation for longer, if we can, you know, like how can we help them grow their own independent business? Because also, I mean, we only operate in the US generally. So, you're saving on exporting it to other places. You don't have to deal with any of those issues potentially. And, the carbon emissions of shipping things back and forth is so exorbitant that we think there's a growing reseller base here and we want to support them as best we can. So, yeah, I think also we're really leaning into these new sales channels that have been popping up. TikTok Shop is huge right now. There are reselling apps called Whatnot and Jamble.
Hmm.
Our customers love those. Do you know them?
I know
Like, have you
whatnot. I don't know
shopped?
the other one. Maybe I
Yeah,
should check
Jamble. Oh, careful. They're all addicting. Like I
out.
it's so tough.
I know
Um,
I created a new on my phone, like all the folders, they're color coded. I've had it that way since like actually I think I got a phone, like
yeah.
never changed. But I started a new folder, which is so bad. Like I definitely shouldn't have this folder, but it's like all my secondhand apps. So it's like eBay,
hmm
Depop, Poshmark, whatnot. What's the other one? Vinted. Like all of them are in
hmm
one folder, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to name the folder like "Do Not Open" because
Yeah.
I need to spend less time on resale. I don't even end up buying anything. It's just like instead of scrolling on TikTok, I scroll on Depop.
No, I do that too because their algorithm is so good now. It's
It's so
ridiculous.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's dangerous, actually, is what it is.
It is, and especially when they send you your like year in recap or whatever, and it's like you bought 50 items on Depop. I'm like, oh
I'm
God,
like, oh my God, when did
that's
that happen?
at least they're all
Yeah,
secondhand, but Jesus Christ.
yeah.
Yeah, and
It's like
yeah.
my even with my Spotify app, I'm like, this is sometimes just too exposing. Like, I don't need to know the amount of hours I spent listening to like the Hamilton soundtrack. Like, that's like really not my business. Like, actually keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
I
And
really,
the mixtape, please. No, I
please, like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah.
well, I didn't need to know that information. Like, there are certain apps that I really don't think need a yearly recap. Okay,
Yep. Ignorance is bliss. Thanks.
for my
But
whole
no, but yeah, tell me, you know what? Tell me how much I bought on Amazon and shame me into stopping
Yeah,
there,
honestly, that
please.
is a good idea, but Amazon would never. They don't
Yeah.
have sustainability. But I
App
think
idea for your listeners. Amazon shaming app, please.
there we go. Any app developers out there? I think Depop too, though. I'm trying to remember because do they tell you? I think they do, but I could be wrong. Like the amount of maybe like stuff that you saved in terms of like
Yeah.
environmental impact. So then it is good. Then I am happy to hear that.
Yeah. I like how ThreadUp and Depop have changed their methodology when it comes to that stuff because it's always, for a while, it was always like you saved 100 gallons of water or something. And they've added, you've saved 100 gallons of water had this thing ended up in the trash or had you bought firsthand instead
Right.
of new, which I appreciate as a data nerd
Yeah.
when it comes to this stuff.
I think that's
So
helpful to hear. But
yeah, yeah,
um you guys also, I mean, obviously like NuSource really focuses on this idea of like circular fashion. If our listeners, maybe have never this is their first intro into sustainability, can you tell us what this circular model is in the fashion industry and how we can keep pushing this idea?
absolutely. And I think it's important to distinguish sustainability and circularity or establish them as two separate concepts because I think they are distinct. And I think circularity can feed into sustainability for sure, but they're not synonyms of each other, if that makes sense. So I think sustainability is really focused on reducing negative environmental impacts, negative social impacts, and ideally sustaining a business model that works for the planet, people, and the business owners and stakeholders of that business, right? I think circularity is interesting because the idea is just like the key principle being how can we minimize waste and keep resources in circulation for as long as possible through the life cycle of the product. So all waste becomes feedstock for another process. Recycling and reusing waste diverts it from landfill, reduces pollution. So that doesn't talk about necessarily social benefit. I don't think it talks about, I think it implies an economic benefit, but doesn't really talk about it as much as like sustainability sometimes does. But I think it can be used as a tool to further a sustainable agenda. And I mean, like, in circularity in fashion can also mean material circularity or like the business model of circularity.
Mhm.
So, like, is this product made from 100% recycled content? Okay, cool. Is it recycled from bottles or is it recycled from your own waste? That is a whole different thing. circular business model, meaning do you have a take back program? Like Lululemon, they have a take back program. You can drop off your leggings at the store, you get a discount for your future purchase, and then they are then reselling those used items themselves to keep them out of trash. So I would argue, similar to sustainability, that a brand can't just do one of these activities, like one circular activity, and then call itself a circular business. You can't just have a take back program and call yourself circular. I would say, okay, are your products being made more durably? Are they Do you have a repair program? Are you educating your customers on repair? Are you working with NuSource to handle your returns in a more environmentally friendly way? Okay, great. If you're doing all of those activities, I would say you're then more circular because it's a circle. Like you can't just have like one piece, otherwise you're still like visually as a graphic designer, I would be like, no, you're missing some chunks of your circle there. But yeah, so I admire brands that take on the activities separately in an effort to then maybe be more circular and therefore then more sustainable. But yeah, I think everyone is trying to understand what circularity means, and we're in a period of kind of hashing it out
Hmm.
in business.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important to note too, because I think when it comes to sustainability, there are a lot of people out there that kind of expect things to be perfect. And that's something
Yeah,
that I'll experience a lot in my like comment section where people are like, you shipped this item from Brazil. It's not really that sustainable. And I'm like, well,
right.
well, the item, it's made out of regenerative fabric and it's made by hand and they only make this many of them and they
Right.
donate a lot of their proceeds to this organization and it's like we're hitting a lot of these key points like yes I did have to ship it and that sucks but I think we're working out a lot of these details of like what is sustainable, what is circular, like how can we be more sustainable. And when we have, these kind of things whispering in our ear, being like, well, that's actually not that sustainable. It's like, I'm going to do what I can today and
Yeah.
I'll improve on that more tomorrow and the next time I shop and this time and whatever. And it's like, as long as we continuously improve and learn, I think that's what is important when it comes to sustainability. Because I feel like this industry it can be very daunting, but I think it's also interesting to hear kind of like the different aspects of what can be considered circular and like how they're circular in different entities and just like you know points and how a product is made and whether it's circular in the fabric itself or whether it's circular in the model of the brand or anything like that. And so I think all of this is important to hear and hopefully we can have people that are like looking out for like, oh, well, maybe like the company I work for or when I shop at this brand, like maybe they have a circular model that I can, take this back similar to Lululemon. Um,
Yeah.
and just keep like an eye out for things like that or keep an eye out for what their garments are made out of so that they can see if it's circular can will be good for the planet or not. um
Yeah. Well, to your point, I think people in this space and people outside of this space can very easily let perfection be the enemy of the good. And I think any incremental progress should continue. And like we all need to understand, like, yes, we're not done. It's progress over perfection. Like not be we need to try to not be bogged down by all the work left to do and celebrate the little wins, and like each individual person, I hate to say it, is not going to have the biggest impact in the entire world. We are still working in a system of capitalism. Like there is only so much one person can do within this system. And I think the best thing that we can all do is if we have an idea of, what if our our company does this differently, or I noticed something. Don't let that thought go. Follow up on that thought. Write that thought down. Like explore it yourself. See what you can do if you're so inclined, like what if we partnered with that nonprofit and donated some of these bras to an organization that provides bras to underprivileged girls, like that. We work with an organization like that and we love that kind of thing. But that's because someone had an idea, what if? And I think everyone at every company who has the time and energy should follow up on those what if ideas.
Yeah. I
Soapbox.
I agree. I mean, I met you and I was like, hey, I work for a brand called Wolf and Badger. I actually have no idea what ended up happening with that email chain, but
I'm hoping we'll figure it out.
cool. Perfect. Awesome.
Yep.
But I was,
Side note, hopefully that works out.
yeah, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I'll meet a company or I'll meet someone that works for a company and I'm like, perfect. I work for this
Yep.
company. Like maybe there's something there. If not,
Yeah.
whatever. We'll see when we can work together at some point. But like for now, it's always just like a matter of like those what ifs and then yeah, seeing what we can make of them. Um
Yeah. And thank you. Thank you for doing that because a lot of people just have the idea and be like, I don't have the bandwidth to do this right now. But it can just start with like an email introduction, right?
yeah.
And it's
And
not that hard.
so say I am, for instance, a brand that
Hmm.
wants to become more sustainable or get involved with NuSource. How would I go about that process?
You can hit me up. I love having conversations with people who either have no idea what they can do or have an idea. Like if you're starting from zero to six, it does not matter where you're starting from. I am always happy to have a conversation. So you can find me on LinkedIn. You can email me. It's Madison at NuSource.io. Sorry, I'm still remembering how to spell things. Feel free to email me. Feel free to find me on LinkedIn. We can set up a meeting and just have a quick little conversation because we are absolutely right now looking to bring on more partners and would love to help with whatever challenges y'all are facing out there. Like also just to plug our lovely customers a little bit more. Because we have thousands of customers in the US, we also have like a wide variety of customers too. We have people who sell in their own brick and mortar store, like a mom and pop consignment shop kind of thing. We have people who sell on eBay and, listing and selling online is their whole game. And then, yeah, we have whatnot sellers who are so quick. They are moving through things so quickly. And also, then, if the brand is concerned about like their brand integrity, seeing their stuff end up in maybe different sales channels that could end up being competitive with their firsthand sales, if we are able to control distribution really, really well so that the brand is not theoretically cannibalizing on their firsthand purchases. So like, if someone's selling something on whatnot, you don't see what that price was like you can on eBay or Depop or something like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So we help maintain that brand equity a lot better than like a TJ Maxx, for example.
Interesting. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any brands are listening, you know what to do now. Um, are there any common misunderstandings about what brands or consumers can realistically do with unsold or used clothing?
Mm. Well, I think we talked about some of that with our repair
Mm.
ideas. But also, I think there is this misconception that it has to be expensive. And yeah, if you're taking it to a cobbler, you're taking it to a seamstress, yeah, you got to pay for their time and sometimes supplies. But two arguments there. One, however much you paid for that thing in the first place was probably not its real cost. Just saying. If you bought a t-shirt for like 20 bucks, not shaming you, but
Yeah.
shaming the person who
Shaming
paid
them.
to have that made.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I think there are some awesome tools and resources out there to like clean your clothes and repair your own clothes yourself. I remember when I discovered fabric shaver. Oh my God. That blew my mind. Like I had so many things that were so pilled and looked super weird.
Yeah.
I took a fabric shaver to it once and it was brand new.
Yeah.
Don't throw out your pilled stuff, peeps.
So many things that I'm like, we just don't practice this as much. Like, guys, where did we lose this idea? But I also think like again, just like talking about it and stuff like that. Like I swear I've seen things like that where it's like on TikTok shop or something, it's like buy this like fabric shaver, whatever. And I'm like, honestly good. Like I'm glad that we're talking about this more and we're acting like it's this new thing when it's actually not. But I
Exactly.
as long as we're talking about it, like I don't care. Like this is I just like it's just really shocks me in the rate in which we really like lost a lot of these practices because I mean I again talk about this all the time, but like in middle school we had to take like a home ec class and we had to like learn how to sew a pillow.
Right.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if you even still have to take that class. I mean, you might, but the idea of like doing repairs to your clothes is a lost idea. I remember I had like a button pop off of something and my friends were like, "Oh no, like guess you
It's
gotta get rid of
over.
your jeans." And I was like, or hear me out. Like I could just sew the button back on. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, "You got thread and a needle?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I like did it right there and then. And they were like, "Wow, how'd you do that?" And I was like, "Sewing on a button's like maybe the easiest sewing thing I know how to do." Like
Yeah.
I I'm not very good at sewing too, so that says a lot. Like I'm very impatient when it comes to sewing. I'm gonna get it done really quickly. I don't care if it looks good.
Yep.
Because I'm the only person who's going to be seeing that.
Right.
I yeah, so I just like sewed it back on and I was like it was so funny to me that like the person I was with found it so interesting that I was just sewing this button back on and I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like usually I
Yeah.
carry thread and needles with me. I know, really
Yeah.
crazy.
Well,
So,
that's like the Mend in Public Day, I thought was so smart. Like,
yeah.
do you remember that campaign? The
Yeah,
remake or Fashion Revolution?
one of the two. Yes.
And I love that idea because it is so true. If you are not exposed to it, like if you weren't brought up repairing your clothes, or if your parents weren't doing it, your friends weren't doing it, how are you supposed to know that A, it's normal, and B, that it's easy enough for you to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that. You just showed your friends that they don't need to throw away their jeans.
I was like, you want to go even a step further? I'll teach you how to sew a button back on."
What?
Lives change. But now I have a friend who has been doing this like series on social, and she just hosted an event recently that was really cool. Her name's Leah Thomas, Green Girl Leah on Instagram.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She has been like doing this series for a while on social where she will see something and then she'll just make it instead of buying it. And I like
Nice.
really love that idea where like I'll do that too, not quite as often as she's doing it and definitely not as skilled as she's doing it. But like I'll like save things randomly on like Pinterest or like TikTok or Instagram or whatever where I have like a little DIY folder. And when I
Nice.
have like a day that I'm like, oh, well, like I want to do this or I have this upcoming event or like I'm looking right now, my boyfriend's birthday was just this past week and a month ago it was my birthday and I had made these like cute little paper garland things that I like hung up around the apartment and
Oh,
I'm just gonna keep them because I hang them up for like the holiday time anyways and it's like I just took freaking colored paper and I freaking stapled it together and then I safety pinned it into or not I push pinned it into my wall super easy DIY little project and it makes my apartment feel so like whimsical and so special around the holidays or any like birthday or anything like that. And I'm like, that's like something that I had saved on Pinterest that I just ended up DIYing. But there are so many things that I have that like I can DIY and I have like a whole folder of it. So I really want to take inspiration from Leah, I think, and like when I see something instead of just going out and buying it, like figuring out a way that I can make it myself. And I think everyone should practice that. So that's actually what I challenge everyone listening to do. Craft one thing this month. It's August.
yes.
It's August, but when this comes out, it'll be September. You'll have like 3 weeks or 2 weeks or something for the end of September. Maybe I'll give
You
you
can do it.
craft something by the end of 2025.
Mm.
I challenge everyone. There you go. There's my challenge. Anyways, this has been great. I feel like you gave a lot of great tips already, but I always like to end my podcast asking what are some top tips you would give to someone who is looking to become more sustainable? Any
Ooh,
extra ones you got?
extra ones. Well, yes, I would say do what you can to follow the waste hierarchy, meaning reduce, reuse, recycle. I would say the first way you can do that is try to buy a little less. And then whatever you buy, try to buy secondhand. And then whatever you buy secondhand, wear it as much as you can, commit to repairing it. When you do buy it, follow the stuff like the steps that you and I just talked about. Can you imagine wearing this at least 7 to 10 times? Because that's like the average times an American wears something before discarding it. Please do the bare minimum and commit to the 7 to 10 times.
Please.
And then when you're done, like swap those items with someone. Like I'm sure there are, if you're living in a major city, there are clothing swaps available to you that you can find on Eventbrite. You can find through remakes, social channels, sometimes fashion revolutions. There are these resources out there. And like, if you do want to be a little bit more sustainable, it is okay to start small and start with one thing that you can commit to doing. Like, for example, I went vegetarian and I wanted to be a little bit more, I did want to be a little bit more vegan because like cheese is a thing for me. And so, right, like that's hard. The meat for some reason was so much easier than
Meat
cheese.
was so easy. I like really have a hard time giving up cheese and I am lactose intolerant, so I'm like,
Oh no. Oh girl.
oopsies. What? Whatever.
Lactose? I don't know. I don't know. That's so tough. Oh my God. But yeah, like just cut it out of one meal. Like,
Yeah.
just start by cutting things out slowly and make it a routine. And once it's a routine, those 3 months of doing things consistently, it's going to be a lot easier. Oh, and then if you're interested in shopping more secondhand, because you will also save money in addition to supporting a small business and potentially helping avoid that item ending up in the trash. If you're interested in buying something that you see on the internet, screenshot it, use Google reverse image search, use Benny, use ThreadUp's image search feature. Like all of these AI tools, as much as they're going to all replace us one day, are super useful right now. So please try to use these tools for good.
Well, we can before they take over the world. That is so, I love that you said that because I do this literally all the time. This is like my hack to finding things on, actually, I saw, I think, an ad recently on TikTok, Instagram, one of the two, whatever. And it was like promoting one of those reverse image search on, I can't remember what site it was. It might have been Pinterest.
Mm,
I have no idea. But
mm,
that is like my favorite hack is like I'm like I can find absolutely anything with just a quick easy reverse image search, and the amount of like screenshots I have of other people's like Instagram posts and TikToks of me being like, oh, I really like this belt, like I'm gonna try to find something similar. And then
ooh,
I think my search engine is just like knows me really well. So like I'll go on Google or whatever, and like everything that comes up, it always is this, which I think is really cool. I don't know how it knows, but whatever, stalks my information, obviously. Uh,
mm,
but like whenever I look up something like boots or something, it'll always be like Depop, Poshmark, eBay first before it ever shows
yes.
any type of like new store. So that is such a good hack, and I'm glad that you're saying that because I don't think I've actually had anyone actually say that before. So
It's
that
a good hack.
that's a great hack. And those are great tips. And thank you so much for coming on and talking about you and talking about sustainability and talking about NuSource. And I think that, yeah, everyone should check it out. If you're a brand listening, be sure to reach out to Madison. If you want to learn more about Remake, check out Remake on their Instagram. I think it's Remake Our World is their website.
Or wait, I'll help.
Yeah. Me like, what is it? Remake.world is the website.
Remake Our World is the
Is
Instagram.
the Instagram. Gorgeous. That is how
Indeed.
Madison and I met 2 years ago, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. While you're at it, you can follow me on my socials. My Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube are all my name at Lexy Silverstein. That's Lexy, silver like the color, Stein. And remember to live a good life and look fucking good doing it.